Welcome back to Unraveled Game Thoughts. Today I have Anachrony and sort of doing a bunch of things. I figured I'd do a playthrough and I will also rate the solo. If you just want the rating for the solo, go ahead and skip to the end. I'm going to do the playthrough first for the solo version, and all that rating will be toward the end of the video. I'll put a timestamp in there so that you could just skip to that if that's what you're interested in. If you want to see how the solo plays, then we'll jump in here. I am not going to give an in-depth explanation. What I'll do is as I play the game, I'll explain what I am doing as I go through. All right. Anachrony is a big box. I am only playing with essentially the base game. So I have our turn structure here. My camera is a bit far, so I'm not going to be able to, I don't know if you'll be able to see that very well. You probably won't. What I'll do is I'll hold this up. I'll see if that flashes up on the screen pretty well. So you got the game phases. We have preparation, paradox, power up, warp, action rounds, and cleanup. Those are the 6 phases of a turn. And in round 1, we don't really do preparation because we already have our super projects exit. And actually, technically, I have made a mistake here because I put all these super projects out right away. I'll go ahead and leave the first one out, and then I will shuffle these. I think theoretically, the real thing to do would be to just shuffle all the super projects because there's more in the box and get new ones out. But for the sake of time, I'm just going to redo that, and we'll have our super project out here, and we do paradox. We skip that in the first phase, and then we just do power up. So I have to determine how many exosuits I'm going to use. Now for the Automa board, I can't put the 6 exosuits on there, so I am just going to take their 6 exosuits and put them here to indicate that I have 6 available, and then I will just use the Automa exosuits, the miniatures here, to put them on the board. I have not painted my miniatures. They're still gray because I don't really, I like the idea of painting figures. I think it would be neat and fun. I just, it's one of those, don't have time for that hobby right now. I barely have time for this one. So we'll go with what we got. Power up. How many of these suits do I want to power up? Now, any suit I don't power up, normally I would get water. Actually, I do. I have it on the A side of the board. I think this particular faction on the other side does not get water for powered up suits. If I power up these 3 spaces here, I have to pay an energy core to do so, which I'm going to go ahead and pay 3 energy cores. I have 3 water. I'm not going to fret the water too much because if I don't use these suits, they can go on to the next phase, and that's fine. I start with 2 engineers and 2 scientists, and I start with 1 asleep engineer. That is my phase. I am using the leader who, at the end of the cleanup phase, I can take 1 of any of these that are left in the mining area, any of those resources, and I can pay 2 water to get a second resource if it's available. So we definitely want to use that faction ability if we can. I'm also kind of building toward my escape plan, in which I need 3, I believe it's factories, are the requirements. 3 factories, that gets me 5 victory points outright. And then for every pair of engineer plus titanium cube I have in my inventory, these are the titanium cubes. They look just like the upgraded metal for Scythe. This is probably from the same stock, most likely. And these are upgraded parts for this game. If you ever get the game Anachrony, these are the cubes that actually come with the main game, I believe. And there's also punch-out cubes that you can use as well. There might even be a very base version of the game that only uses the punch-out. So I guess these are sort of upgrades. And then I have these upgraded parts where we have uranium, which looks like a little uranium core. We've got the energy cores, the titanium, the gold, and the neutronium, which are these purple like rock things here. Neutronium in Anachrony represents this element that was discovered, which is what allows time travel and allows us to gather items from the future and power machines which take us back to the past and return those items once we have passed that area of our timeline. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 eras, and then impact. Giant comet full of neutronium is going to destroy the planet. 3 more phases after impact. Once the impact has happened, then we can potentially do the escape plan on one of these 3 rounds if the game goes on that long. Which I think the only reason the game would end earlier than that is if I ended it, because the AI will continue to take turns. The solo bot here, as long as I take turns. If I stop taking turns in a round, then solo bot stops taking turns. But he gets at least 3. Minimum 3 turns. So I'll explain that when we get to him. And actually, he goes first. So what we do is we roll a 6-sided die, and I rolled a 3. So this is pre-set up, and I go to 3, and I'm going to move this 3 over here, and then he's going to get to do this action for which he pays no resources, as most of these bots do. He's going to take a build action. He's going to take this space because that would be the space that I would want first. So he's naturally probably going to take that. And then he's going to build a water. And he will take this and he will build it. He can build up to 3 buildings of each one. And then he cannot build that particular one anymore. If at any point there's an action he cannot take, he obtains 2 water. And I believe that is his turn if he can't take an action. There's some insignia. Yeah, if you can't take an action, he gets 2 water and a victory point. So he gets one of these up here if that occurs. So that's his turn. I got to decide what I want to do. I really want to build factories if I can. I have 2 titanium and a gold. The question is there a factory that I really want to build? Well, this factory allows me to send engineers there to get energy cores. I'm going to want energy cores. That's not a bad idea. So I have a worker who can go build. Now my engineers can build for 1 less. The other thing is my engineers come back awake if they go mining. I want that build action, I really do, but here's the catch. That build action is, as much as that is, this is a better action for me, I believe, because neutronium is hard to come by. I really want a neutronium because I'm not going to be able to build a time machine, or I forget what they actually are called in the game, but that type of building is not buildable without neutronium. And neutronium is sort of rare. After the impact, there's plenty of it, but before the impact, it's the rarest element and the hardest to get, and this is a good place to get it because it's to some degree, outside of an action, it's free. Plus my engineer will come back awake because engineers come back awake from this. And I get to pick one of these 3. So I'm collecting titanium mostly. Part of the question is, what am I going to want to build that's going to help me? I think titanium is probably going to be the ideal candidate here because I'm going to need plenty of it later, or I'm going to want plenty of it later. So we're going to do that. So then we come back to Automa and we roll a 4. So the 4 is under the 3. We'll move here, and he doesn't use workers. He just goes out on the board and does the action depicted. So he's going to grab this, and he wants to take somebody he doesn't have. And he starts, I want to say he starts with geniuses, but I don't want to assume that. Let's double check the rule book. He takes a genius first. We'll just leave that open to that page so I don't have to find it. So he's going to take the genius. He doesn't get any other things, but what he's trying to do is collect one of each, and then he gets 5 victory points for that. So now it is my turn. I could go for a building now. I could mine. Mining is a very valuable thing for me to do. Building is also very good, and I kind of want that building before he might take it. I would rather mine with engineers, but the engineer gives me a discount also on this building. I do have to pay a water for the space, because I'm taking that space that requires water, but I'm going to build one of these buildings, this one, in fact, with a discount of 1. So I still have to pay a gold and a titanium, and I get to build this building because I want those buildings for my escape plan later on. I want 3 of these, which is what I need. So I really want to get 3 that are going to be relatively useful to me, and this one's going to help me get some, some energy cores. I just need engineers to do it. I can't get any engineers this round, unfortunately, so this will largely be... Now I'm wondering if I might need to... No, I actually have a opportunity to get an engineer this round. I just have to use my wake up. So we'll see how that works. Let's roll for the solo bot. And we've got a 3, so 3 is going to move over. And he is going to take this, and he's going to grab a executive there. Administrator, rather. I am going to... You know, one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a free action, which does not count, and I'm going to lower my morale by 1, but I am going to get my engineer over here, like so that I can use him later. And then we need mining materials. I believe we're going to need water. There's plenty of space for water. I really want to go after these spaces that are going to take my resources the most. I'm debating going for a breakthrough, but I don't have anything in particular that I need to chase after for a breakthrough. This building would be awfully nice to build, but I need gold to build it. I want to use my engineer for this, so I am going to take this, and I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to need gold. I'm going to get a discount on the titanium, so I'm going to go ahead and take 2 gold in preparation for that down the road. You know, I forgot one thing. I totally forgot this. We were supposed to do warp after the power-ups. I started the action round before the warp phase. So, for warp phase... and we got the paradox dice. All right, and the anomaly. So, we're going to... First, we roll this dice for him, and he gets 1 paradox. So, he just... All he does is take these and put them there. Actually, he rolls 1, he puts that there. And then I would get to pick 1, 2, or 3 of these to put on there. I think technically I would roll his after I go. That makes the most sense. So I'll try to pretend that I don't know he has one on there. And given the need for me to build those factories, probably what I would have made an effort to do is go get... I started with a gold. I could have gotten a gold, but I know I want to start with, I'm not sure what I would have gotten. Water would have been useful, and gold would have been useful. Titanium is usually pretty easy to get. So I'm going to say, I'm going to make it a little challenging on myself. I'm going to say I would have gone for these two things and warped them from the future to myself, which would be 2 water and 1 gold, which we'll grab from here, which gives me another gold, which I don't, you know, if I go back and do that, I don't know that I would do, but it gives me a little bit of a challenge, something else to work for, to go back to the past eventually and return these later on. I can't return them to the same timeline I'm on, so have to just wait till further down the road. All right, so we roll. We don't do anything else with this. And he took that player, so he's gone 1, 2, 3 times. I've gone 1, 2, 3 times. It's his turn again. He rolls a 2, so he is going to go take a breakthrough. He'll have 2 workers left. I should take those off the board to remind myself. And he only rolls this die. So he's going to get whatever shaped die I choose. He's going to get one of these. And I think he just collects these for points at the end of the game is my guess. I don't see a spot in the board for breakthroughs, so I'm going to assume that is what he does. All right. It is my turn. Oh, man. Let's see. I could mine, get more stuff, but really a building is to some degree ideal here. So let's go pay a water, and we're going to have to build a building. So this is going to take 2. I get a nope, I don't get a discount because I'm not using an engineer. So I actually have to pay 2 and 1 and 2 water to build the second building. But getting this done in round 1 is not a bad deal, and getting 2 buildings out there is also not a bad deal. So I'm going to take this building, which is available, and put it down there. And so now I have a worker that can come back awake and get me 2 titanium, which is pretty helpful to get titanium and to get energy cores. So we'll go here. We got a 6, and he is going to move 6 here. So he gets 1 victory point. And I'm just going to stick those off to the side. And then that's what he gets before impact. If it was after impact, he would get a super project. But it is before impact. So that's his victory point. And then I will get to go. I needed water, which I might have to get next round. I'm going to have to get some people next round. I might even have to go to first place. So I'm going to put that engineer there and get another energy core so that I can use that next round. And then he is going to go. He continues to go until I pass, essentially, is the deal. And so he rolls a 2. He's going to go here. He is going to go mining. And he would go after neutronium first. Then he goes after uranium. And then gold. But he can't get another uranium. He just gets the 1. And then that's it. Right. Let's see. And then I'm passing. So when I pass, I don't do anything just yet. So he's going to end up passing. And then we retrieve our workers because he passes after me so long as I don't pass before 3 rounds. He's going to get all 6 back for next round. I'm going to retrieve my workers. Now this one comes back asleep. This one will come back asleep. He will come back asleep. He will come back asleep. And this guy will come back awake because he's a mining engineer. So I get one awake person. And then I get my free action token back for now. And then we move on. There's no impact. It's not the game in, it's the next era. We refill the mine. So first thing we'll do is turn over that, and we have 2 Anachrony coming out, which is a pretty good deal. And then we got 3 of these. Oh, and at the end of that phase, let's see what was left. I had 2 titanium. I could have gotten one of those titanium for free, which I would. And this is my action. And then if I wanted to pay 2 water, or could, I could get another one, but I didn't have 2 water, so it wouldn't have made a difference. I would only be able to get that titanium, which is fine. So we've got those filled up, and then we have to fill up the worker pool. We have a scientist coming out. We have 2 engineers coming out, which is really rather fantastic because that helps me in multiple ways. And we have 1 of these coming out. So I need to get an executive, but I need the engineers first and foremost. So scientists have to go. Oh, let's see. Let's first refill the mine and recruit pools. We refill the new super project. We're actually supposed to put a time marker on whatever era we're on, which is going to be that era. I have the most warp tiles, so I have to roll the paradox, and I get 1 paradox, and so that's going to go onto my board up here. The AI does not roll because I have more. And then the power up, we power up exosuits. I'm definitely powering up all of mine and using a core to do that one. And then we can now warp things in. So I'm going to go first this time. What do I need warped in? Well, I desperately need an engineer. And I desperately need an executive. I really need both those things. I'm going to have to get water this round. So I'm not going to use an executive right away. Probably. I'm going to need titanium. Let's see, we don't need an exosuit. I don't need a scientist. I don't really need uranium per se, and I don't need neutronium. So let's see. Do we want titanium and an executive? I could get both of those things and then work on doing some other stuff. So I think the executive is going to be critical because I can't recruit anybody without an executive, and that's going to be critical. So, and I think that titanium is going to be useful because there's not a lot out there. So I'm going to warp in a executive and a titanium. I'm going to have to pay a water to get the executive. That's okay. So I will get this executive. He comes in awake, and I'm going to get a titanium, which is just going to come in like so. Whew. And he is going to roll the die to see how many he gets. He gets 1 tile on the timeline. And then we've done warp, and now we do action rounds, and he goes first. So he is going to roll a 4. Well, it's under that 3 again. So he's going to build. And he wants to build a... Oh, we forgot to rotate these tiles. So that goes there, that goes there, that goes there, and that goes there. And he is going to build this one here. Done. Okay, now my action is I got to do things in a fairly good order here. I am going to free action all of these guys awake, and I want to get engineers before he steals them all. And so there's a little bit of an order of events here that I need to do this in, because the executive is the only one that can recruit, and then the genius can recruit as well. The engineer and the scientist cannot recruit. So if I use my executive to get one, I will not be able to recruit again because that's my only executive. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to recruit, and I'm going to recruit a genius, which comes to my deal awake, and I get any one of these actions. Well, water is something I need and don't produce in any way, so I'm going to grab 2 water while I can and see if that helps me. And then he's going to roll, and he rolls a 1. So he is going to move his time forward 1, and he takes one of these off of the board. That's a pretty good deal for him to get to do that. Huh. Like, it cost him almost nothing. Very interesting. Let's see now. I kind of think I want to do that recruit action while I can with my genius. And now that I have the water that I got last turn, I can go do that. And I can recruit another engineer, which gives me a bonus of a time core. Or an energy core, rather, not a time core. And then Autumn is going to go. So you can kind of see the automatons are not very challenging. And it looks like I don't even put a worker out for him then. He just gets 2 water. There are some things he might have to pay water for. So I'll just put his resources over there for when he uses it. He does have some things he could pay water for at times. So that's what he gets. Now, I really need to get a time machine. That one on top is pretty good. It's going to cost me a water. It's going to cost me 2 water to get that time machine. That's unfortunate, because what that means is I really am going to have to use an action to go up here and get 4 water. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to get my 5 and put that back. And so that gives me water to potentially get the time machine. He rolls a 1, which goes here. So he doesn't have an anomaly to even pull off. And so he just gets 2 water and a victory point because he can't do the basic action. So there is a victory point for him and 2 water for him. And then now I can go do that building action that I want to do, and I believe I have the resources for it. I can pay 1 water, which is going to give me 4 back. 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to have to pay another water for where I put the building and a neutronium, which I'll put there. Throw my water there, and I can pay 1 titanium because I get the discount because I sent an engineer to go do it. So that gives me that, and I'm going to build this building, and I'm picking that one because the amount of time I can go back using that building is significant. It's 1 water will get me back 4 time phases, and that is a good return on my time phase investment. So I say that is worth it for me. I think I might be doing that next as well, huh? That is awfully good. Okay, let's see. He is going to roll, and he wants a 2. So he's going to go here. He is going to build a building. Normally it'd be a water building, but yeah, that's what he'll do. He'll go there, but he has to take this space to do it. And he will build a water. He always builds the lower one here. And he does not get things from those buildings. So now that's sketchy. I really want that building. Ooh, the question is, I don't know, can I build it? If I use an engineer, it will cost me 1 because of the discount, but I got to pay 2 water for that space. So, and all the below spaces aren't filled. So I think since I'm probably doing this wrong, and if you're watching this video and you call it out, we got this wrong some time ago, but I know in the rule book it's not spelled out. The way I'm gonna play it, and I could be getting it wrong, and if you know I'm getting it wrong, just feel free to post in the comments. If this space is filled, and the action that I want to take is filled, then I can get first player here and take the action. Now, if I wanted to take this action, which is not filled, I would only get first player. I could not also take this action because it's not filled. But if I wanted to recruit or I wanted to build, that's filled and this is filled. So going here gets me an action and gets me a first player. So that's what I'm going to do. I could be getting it wrong, but we played a much stricter way, and I believe I found out that we were playing too strict. So I'm going to back it up and play it less strict this time. Hopefully I'm not totally baffling myself. So we're going to do that. And I'm going to roll. He gets a 5, and he's going here. He wants to build. There are no building spaces. He can't build. So he gets 2 water. That is what he gets. So I'm going to give him a 5 and take away 3 here. And then it's my turn. Now, I have got some options. Quite a few, actually. Just a matter of what do I want to take. But he's going to get turns as well. This is a tough choice. Well, I think one action that makes a lot of sense to do is to pay a water and go back in time, and I will set my marker to here, and I will return a gold to the stockpile, and that will move my time marker forward 1, and it gets me my gold marker back. So that's how I get points based on the timeline here. That seems like a good move. I'm doing that. And then he is going to go. Now let me double check his turns. I believe he continues to go until I do not. Doesn't use workers, never pays cost of actions. Let's see, end of round. Once the Chronobot has run out of exosuits, it takes a time travel action on its next turn, if able, and then passes. If the player passes first, the action round phase ends immediately. Okay. So, if he gets as many turns as I do, he takes a time travel action, and that's it. So, he's going to keep going. He's going to keep going. He rolls a 1. So, he wants to build, but he can't. So he gets water. And he's not out of exosuits. He has 4 remaining. So he's good on the exosuits. He just can't build anything. So that's the deal. All right. So now I have 1 exosuit, but I can't recruit, and that's probably what I would do. I can mine. I have a tough choice here because mining would give me some good resources, but I think with my ability, I'm actually going to make out better not mining. I'm going to go get a core that I can use to help be powered up next round. And I'm going to use my scientist here. Oh, I forgot. He's got to roll first. So he got a 6, and that's going to go back here. He gets a victory point. And then I'm going to use my scientist. I'm going to pay that. I am going to get a victory point. And I also get 6 water, which I will put to use next round. So that's that. And then he is going to roll again. He rolls a 1. He goes here. He gets to pull one of these off. So I'm the only one with time markers on there, sadly. And I'm passing round ends because I can't do anything else. So that's the end of the round. Oh, at the end of my turn, I am going to spend the extra. I get to mine 1. I can't mine neutronium. I can't just pull that. The question is, what do I want? I think the gold would be the most valuable, and I will pay to 2 water to get. I'm going to pull these out of there because I can't see the water from my energy cores in here. And we'll get 3 back. And I'm going to get a gold and a neutronium and a titanium. Whew. And then we are going to. We got to do that too. So these are going to go back. 2 of those are going to be filled there. We'll have 2 gold here. 1 of these. And we need gold and titanium. And we need new workers. So 2 scientists, 1 genius, 1 engineer. All right. We reveal a new super project and shift the building stacks. This is why it's good to check the player aid, because it helps you remember to do all this stuff. Ooh, that's a good building. There's some good buildings there for sure. Wow. All right, time marker. Shifting back to here. We do paradoxes. I'm the only one rolling for paradoxes, so I'm just going to roll the die. So I got to roll for the first one. I got 1. I roll for the second one. I got 1. So what that would mean is all of these are going to come off because I got 2. That's going to give me 3, and I'm going to get an anomaly, and I can put it in basically the leftmost free building space that I have. So I'm going to do that. All right. And then we rolled for paradoxes. I can power up 0 to 6 exosuits. So I'm going to, I didn't use my last exosuit. I'm going to pay 2 energy cores to power up 2 of them. And I'm going to power up all of these. I could not power some up just to get some water, but I'm not doing that. And then he powers up 6. So he goes there. I am first player this time because I took it last round. Fantastic. Now, I can't recruit with a scientist. I'm going to have to wake these guys up. It's going to cost me 5 water to wake them up. You know what? We're going to use our free action. Boom. We're going to force them awake for a free action. Because I'm a tyrant, we're going to make them work. I'll actually start working that way, that morale back up over time in future turns, but I really want to get some folks while I can because they are helpful. So I am going to go here so I don't have to pay water. I'm going to get a genius because they can be used for anything. And do we want an energy core? Do we want water? I think we want water. I think that's going to be the resource we're going to need to get more of. We're going to do that. And then we'll roll 5. So that's going to go there. And he wants one of these guys. So he rolled a circle. And he gets a circle. We'll give him that breakthrough. And but I don't know that I want to get it yet. So we're in the 3rd era. Better building might come out next year era, so I could focus on. I need to get resources. Going back in time needs to kind of be the next thing I do. I think, man, so building a thing is good. That gets tiles off my timeline, but doesn't help me. The water plant, not a bad water plant. I could motivate for half the water, which would be good. That's a really good one. I have a uranium. I have one of those. I could do it with an engineer. It's still. So I really want to get another worker, but I don't have to pay extra for water there, and I can make this water plant because I have one. I'm using an engineer, so I only need one of those and one water, and that's a pretty good deal. So, because this allows me to do my water for, like, I can motivate my workers next round for half the water it normally takes to do it rounded up. So instead of 4 water, 2 water, and so forth and so on to get my motivation up, which is really good. So I feel like I have to do that to really save myself some time down the road. He rolls a 6. He's going back here, getting 2 water, and that will come back here. Okay, and then let's see. He used one of these so far. My turn. Well, he didn't take anything I really desperately wanted, and I really want another engineer, so I'm going to go there. And oh, what am I doing? I'm taking water. I need to pay a water, and I'm going to get an engineer. This one here, which also gives me one of these lovely guys for more of my my workers. 5. So he's going to go here. He is going to build. Pays nothing. He wants to build a factory, which he will. He takes this factory and puts it in his shop there. All right. Oh man, what do we want to do here? Really got to get stuff on the board. I'm gonna have to pay back that titanium. I don't have gold to pay back. I don't need to. I'm gonna go back and pay back that water eventually, and to get more. I'm gonna need some uranium here to really get. But I only need 1 uranium to do much with. I could use uranium there as well. So I might take that one and that one. I like that. And gives me a, well, but I need the titanium too. So I think I'm not going to take that one. I'm going to take that one. I think that's what I'm going to do. I might get some more later. We'll see. That guy comes back awake, so that's a little bit helpful. But I need to use my bots here. So he wants to get a person. He can't, so he's going to take that, and he's going to take anybody he doesn't have. There are no engineers, so he's going to take a scientist. And that's that. This is what, do I go for an action on the board? I could recruit somebody. I could build, in theory, build another building, but I don't. There's no building I really need right now. This one is pretty good looking. I like it. could build it for 1 uranium, 1 titanium, 2 water. It's awfully good for getting rid of tiles off the board. And I have scientists. I think, as much as I don't necessarily want to, I actually have to pay 3 water. It's a lot of water to pay. It's 2 for that and 2 for that. Uranium, I get the discount, but I can get this building, which is a good building to have in my supply here. So I'm gonna push it a little bit of pushing the luck there to get that built, because I can't do other actions doing that. So he is going to motivate his workers. He doesn't have to pay water or anything. He just motivates them, gets some victory points. All right. Good old AI, getting to do whatever the heck they want. Well, I don't know. I think I'm going to need, what I'm going to need is a uranium to do that, or I'm not going to be able to do it. So, yeah, I'm going to go on over here. I'm going to grab this titanium and this uranium. I'm doing that because I think that will be beneficial. And that's my last worker that I get to use. Roll a 5 again. He wants to build. There is no place to build. He gets 2 water. So I'll give him a 5 and take back 3. And then I'm going to be using my buildings this round. Well, I'm definitely going to get an energy core so that I can get a good solid round in before the destruction of everything. He rolls a 1. So that's going to go here. He would pay to get rid of an anomaly, but there is no anomaly to get rid of, so he's just going to get 2 water. So now we're in a little bit of a bind here. We've got to figure out what exactly is going to be the most efficient action to do. Well, if I do this and I pay a water to go back in time, then I can at least return this titanium and take that off the board, even though it's not the most helpful thing, but it is a little helpful, and move my time marker up. Yeah, it's not too bad. Wouldn't hurt to have another time travel thing. Alright, so we're going to go 5. I feel like we're rolling the same thing every time. And he is going to go here and roll. Let's do a better roll. That's a square. I'm wondering if I'm just not rolling it well, but oh well. I can live with it. He gets that, and we have to decide what to do here. What did I do? I built that thing. Oh, I went mine. Oh, because I'm going to get the water there. That's why I did that. I'll use my genius and the uranium, and that will give me 6 water, which is pretty useful, and a VP, which I will take gladly. All right, so we got 1 VP there. Okay, and then he's gonna roll a 6. Goes back here, gets a VP. So he's got 4 VPs so far. All right. 1 worker left. We could get rid of our anomaly, which would take a thing off the board, which could help us prevent getting another anomaly. We could just take the scientist there and get a thing off the board. We could get 2 deals. I think what would be more significant is using my scientist and just taking 1 off the board, Water has been hard to spend. I am going to take that off the board. I do not get to move my time marker up for that. All I do is get to take that off the board, but it won't count against me on the roll, which is what I want, to not count against me on the roll. So he gets a turn because I didn't pass. I took a turn. He rolled a 1. Bloop. Goes back over here. Wants to build. Can't build. 2 water. I thought there was a thing. You would think as much water as he gets, he would like get rid of it after a while, and never pays the cost, no available spaces. If in action, it receives 2 water and 1 victory point. Oh, every time he gets water, he's supposed to be getting a victory point. So I believe I've done that at least 3 times. So I'm gonna give him 3 victory points. I think that's fair to get him caught up. But he never uses water for anything. He's just hoarding water over here for no good reason. I wonder if that'll be worth. I know he can pay for things with water sometimes, but that's a lot of water to be stockpiling. Okay, now I pass. So we're going to retrieve workers. So let me get his first. And then I'll get mine. Asleep, 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 asleep. And these come back awake. So we get a couple of awake workers. This genius comes back awake. This, whoops, that's not my board here. Comes back. Oh, he doesn't come back awake. Just the genius asleep and asleep. Okay. So we check for impact, no impact. We check for game end, no game end. We are going to reveal the new super project. We're going to shift the building projects. And we are going to refill. Oh, and at the end of my turn, if I wanted to get something from the mine, I could. I'm going to take the free uranium and not pay for the gold because I don't really feel like I need the gold. We are going to get 2 of these out here. We're going to have 1 gold. We're going to have 2 titanium. And then we need another uranium and a titanium. There we go. And then we need we have a scientist, we need an engineer, and we need 2 executives. So 1 engineer to go after this round. Man, it is not helping me with the engineers. And I'm first player. Let's see. Paradox. Most warp tiles. No warp tiles. I roll here. We'll roll that. And I got a 0. Thank goodness. And then we can power up exosuits. We're going to be on this timeline. So we have 1 more before the impact here. I am going to pay all 3 of my power cores to make sure that I can get those guys up there. He's powering up all 6 of his. And then we can place warp tiles. Now, what do I not need? Let's talk about that. I don't need an exosuit. I don't need a scientist. I don't think I need uranium. Anachrony wouldn't hurt. There is neutronium I can mine, though, which is helpful. I'm thinking about building this one here, and maybe I need to build one of those for sure, which I have 2 gold. I'm gonna need titanium. An engineer does not hurt, although I could still get one. Gold doesn't hurt. Water doesn't hurt, but I can get enough water there. I think titanium is helpful. So these are the things that are a little harder to get. The engineer, I'm going to get 2 points for every combination of engineer and titanium. I need lots of titanium. The titanium is going to be a little bit harder to get, I think. Neutronium, definitely harder to get, and I really want to go after titanium. So I think I'm going to get a neutronium and a titanium here. And so immediately port those in. Boom, boom. And we're going to roll to see how many warp tiles he puts down. He puts down 1 warp tile. So he's not doing too bad there. And that's it. Now we do actions, and I'm first player. So I really think I can't hire with that. And I've got to wake my guys up. I wish that was a free action. But I would love this guy to come back awake and not have to wake him up next turn. Or I could hire and just not worry about it because the engineer can wake them up. I think hiring is maybe going to be the best option because I need the engineer and I'm going to be able to use the energy core. So I feel like that's a good deal. We roll the 2. 2 goes here. We get a building. So he's going to take that spot and he's going to grab this building. Ooh. That gives him 3 buildings, which he immediately discards. And 3 is the most he can get, but doesn't he get something for that, for 3 buildings? Maybe not. Maybe 3 is just the most he can get. Maybe he gets victory points. It doesn't say he discards buildings or anything. So yeah, I guess he just has 3 of those buildings, and that's that. Did I? I did shift those, yeah, I did. Okay, so now I'm in a tight space because I really, really, really want that building. It's critical, I think, for me to get that building. So I think I am going to have to go build here, which is going to cost me at least 1 water. Well, it's going to cost me ultimately 3 water. So I'll just do that. And I get the discount because I'm using an engineer, and then I have to use my 2 gold. And then I can build this building there, which allows me to meet my evacuation situation. And all I have to do is worry about having enough folk otherwise. So he is going to roll a 2. And it's going to go up here, and he's going to motivate his people for nothing. And you know, it does kind of indicate that he pays for that. So he should have paid. Why would they have water here? That's the question. Maybe you pay what it's on. Yeah, you pay what it's on. So he would have paid 5, the last turn and then 6 this time. So he does pay water for his morale. I did not notice that before. Okay. So then it's my turn. Well, I want to get, definitely want to get those mining items while I can. I'm going to go here and grab those two. That gives me that. Oh, did I have a neutronium already? Interesting. Well, that's still not bad. So we'll leave it. We'll leave it like that. That's not bad. And then he will roll, and he will get a 4. And again, he will boost morale, but he doesn't have enough water to boost his morale. So all he's going to get is that, and I'm going to put these victory points down here a little closer so I can reach him. So he gets that. All right. Well, I am in the situation where I'm going to have to wake my workers up. I'm going to have to pay the 2 water required to motivate them. And we're going to get awake workers. And then we'll do this lovely thing for, what does he go? Let's see. He's going to build a building. He's going to have to do the capital action to do the building. And he wants to build one of these buildings. So he's going to do that. I could mine some more stuff. Kind of get it set up for next turn. But I'm going to need water, and I think I'll trade, and I'm wondering if it's not worth getting neutronium. But to get neutronium, I am definitely going to need to get some gold to even build that. Because I can return that guy. And next time phase, I can return one of these and one of these, but I'll get a discount on that. Maybe. If I have enough to do it, I will. Yeah, it's going to let me move up in time pretty fast. So I'll get, yeah, the neutronium is going to end up paying off, I think. And I'll show why here in a minute. So I'm going to mine for those. I hope it pays off. We'll see. So he rolls a 3. He wants to build a building. To do that, he has to go there. And he wants to build one of those, but he can't. So I think he builds a building. I believe he builds a building he does not have. Mine resources, time travel, remove, recruit. Let's see. Research, recruit, construct. Specific. Oh, it always takes the building with the higher victory point value. I haven't been doing that right. So I have failed in that regard. Well, I just took the one with the secondary stack. Okay. Takes 1 water and 1 victory point. Okay, so 2 water. Sorry, not 1 water. 2 water and a victory point. So that will, does that give him up to another set of 5? Nope. Okay. So, my turn again. Let's see. I don't have my camera really twisted the right way there, do I? You only see on the side of my face anyway, so, and it's a tiny little screen, so maybe it doesn't matter. But, I could recruit, I'm wondering how many, because I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 actions here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys here. Recruiting won't hurt. I definitely want to do that with an executive. But I kind of want to return my executive. I could just get an executive. I can't recruit with an science. I have to recruit with an executive, but I could recruit an executive to return an executive. So I might go ahead and pony up this last water here. Boom. And get an executive, which gives me a victory point. And it's his go. So he gets a 4. And he's going to go after one of these and roll that die for a triangle. I'm not even going after any of those breakthroughs this game. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite me. And I have kind of a one more action, and the question is, do I want to do, I could either mine, which helps. I can't build, even though I wanted to build this round, I am not going to be able to build. These are anytime actions that are going to cost me anything. Well, probably the most I'm going to get is 2 rolls next round. So I won't get an anomaly. I could probably take the chance and not go back in time until next round, buy an extra one, and go back in time, hopefully. But after the crash, the impact, it's going to be harder to get those spaces. So that's what is really complicated as far as this goes. Well, I'm going to need water one way or another. So we'll go here, pay our uranium, and we'll get our 6 water and victory point. We'll do that piece. He'll roll. He gets a 3, so he's going to go here. He wants to boost morale. He needs 7 water to boost morale, which he has. So he's going to pay that and boost his morale to the highest place it can be. And from now on, he just pays 7 water to boost morale. So then I have one more person I can send out there. I'm probably not sending them to any of the spaces that I could send them to. It's tempting, but I think I'm not going to. I think I'm going to see what I can do with these first. But if I use my executive and don't send them back in time yet, that's the thing. I really want that build action, and I can't get it. It's too bad. I'm kind of thinking the trade is going to be one of the more valuable things. We're definitely going to get 1 core via that action. We rolled a 4. And that's going to go here. He wants to take a mining action, and he can't. So 2 water and a VP. He'll do that. All right. So, I forgot that my scientist here can very easily just pull that back. I don't get to move up on the time track, but I get to move that back, which is handy. That is pretty handy. Okay. So then we roll, and we get a 1. Yeah, I'm gonna pass. That's what I'm gonna do. So then we check for impact, and we have impact, in fact. So the impact is going to happen. I'm still going to be first player. We're going to flip this over like so. And then we have this -3 point token. Which actually, it's not going to matter because he never does the escape action. So I won't get a -3 points on me. I'll just, if I take the escape action, I do it. And if I don't, I don't. It's not game end. And so we have to do the capital action tiles. And you still pay the cost on a given space if you land there. But what this does is it gives a bonus for the different spaces. When you take that action, you'll get that bonus. You'll get the action and you'll get the bonus just before the space collapses. And so it makes each space a little more valuable. Now, one way the game can end, and this is very likely with the Automa playing the way it does, and taking lots of spaces, is when all of these collapsed spaces disappear, the game ends. So we could end up with 7 full rounds, but more than likely what will happen is all these spaces will get taken and the capital will have collapsed. And in that particular case, that will be game end. And we'll see who won the game. So that's the collapsing capital. And let's get this. Now, to my knowledge, he's still, I think after, I'll double check the rules. I think after the collapse, he does not lose spaces, if I'm correct. But I could be incorrect, so let me double check that particular rule and see what it says. General rules, the action cannot be taken, it receives 2 water, research, mining, evacuation. The Chronobot never takes the evacuation action. After the impact, flip collapsing tiles normally. Setup. Okay. I don't see any difference for the Chronobot. Just takes 3 actions. So I think we're good. I think the Chronobot just continues being Chronobot. So we will reveal the super project for this round, and we're gonna see what tiles come out. So we have an engineer, we have an executive, and we have 2 geniuses. So unfortunately, we don't actually have an engineer. We have a scientist, an executive. We got no engineers, so I'm not going to be able to get more engineers. Now, after the collapse, this first one is always a neutronium. Oh, got a cube in there. Fancy that. And we'll put this there. And we'll put that there. Okay. So I think we checked for not game in, we refilled the mine, recruit pools, revealed the super project, and we must shift, whoops, these stacks. Actually, this one should have been here and that one there. Okay. That one's pretty good. Get to remove a tile. Okay, those are our shifting stacks. And we do paradoxes. All right, so I am the one with the most there. And so we're gonna roll and I get 1 paradox on my board. That's not working. There we go, 1 paradox. And then power up exosuits. So now we are in the exosuit. Now, 2 of my board spaces have collapsed, so I do not have the number of exosuit spaces that I did, which is why I wanted those energy cores so that I could keep those powered up, and then they're going to get their exosuits back. And oh, after the impact, they only power up 4. Okay, so they only get 4 after the impact, which is good. That means that's a little more fair to me, which I like. All right. Excuse me. It is early. It's like 4:30 here, I think. Let me see what the time is. 4:57. So not quite as early as I thought, but I got up early, planning a game day coming up, and I needed a party game, so I looked up a few party games to see what would be maybe a good one to consider adding to my mix for the next game day, and then I wanted to knock this out. So, and I know everybody's sleeping in this morning, so that's gives me some time. All right, so I think we're in actions. Powered up. Oh, warp. Do I want to warp anything in? Now, anything I warp in at this point, it's going to be awfully hard to pay back, but not impossible. If the game ends, I will get one opportunity to pay it back. And I cannot get, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. And so I think getting another fella is not going to be highly useful. Now I could set myself up for building a building. That would be not a bad deal. I'm not necessarily going to go after a super project. I don't know that I need to. I think it's not bad. Gives me a free action there. So the question is really, would I need water or neutronium this round? Those are the things. I don't think I'm going to get a person. I don't think I don't have room for a powered up exosuit. I don't know that gold is going to, I have a gold. There's only a couple of mine. I could get those. The question is, what building would I want to build? That's going to take 3 elements to go back in time twice if I want to return those things, which is not a bad idea. And if I'm going after any of these buildings, that might honestly be the building I'd want to go after. It's probably that one because it's going to help me the most. But I'm going to have to mine the neutronium to do it. I don't necessarily want to do a second building project. This is a tough choice. I would need a neutronium. I would need a gold. I would need 2 of those. So a lot of it's going to come down to the order in which I'm going to be able to get things done. And I can't warp in neutronium, which makes it a little harder. So water could end up being, with the need to awaken people up and that sort of thing, it could end up being the thing that I need. So I'm going to go ahead and give myself the opportunity down the road to maybe go back in time and get some things. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and get a couple more water, and I'm going to grab a gold from the future because those things could potentially help me. And I think that's the warp tile. So then he rolls the die, and he rolls 1 warp tile. So he's going to put that in here, and I get to choose an action. One thing to bear in mind is, could I get a bonus here that's really going to help me out. This guy is also over there. And I think one of the things that the one thing I need to consider is going ahead and doing the escape action while I have all my resources. But taking certain collapsing capital areas will also be quite helpful. And I don't want to pass on the opportunity while I have it. So I think one thing we'll do is we're going to take our genius and use him as an executive. I don't necessarily need 2 people. Although 2 geniuses is good. I think I'm going to take this collapsing capital, which is going to give me a free morale boost. I will take it. And I'm going to take this genius, put him there, and then I can take any one of the other bonuses there. And I think what I'm going to want is another core, because if we do make it to the next round, that's going to be helpful for me. And I'm kind of hoping I get one more round to help myself out. So he's going to go 2. So the 2 is going to go there. He's going to take a building. And he does not get bonuses. He's just going to collapse that action. And he wants a highest point building. We're going to start doing this right now. Highest point building. All right. So I think I am going to do... Oh, no. You know what I need to do first? Because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... And I need to get just enough titanium here. Well, you know what might actually be better than doing that is going ahead and sending one of these guys here. So I'll get this and a titanium. And that will give me what I need. Okay, we'll do that. 3 is going to go here. He's going to put his guy there. That's going to be his second exosuit. So he technically has 2 more. That's going to flip this tile. And he is going to get another one of these buildings. The one up, it's tied, so he takes the one on the bottom. And that's his 3 for that. All right. Okay. It's a little close. It's a little close. But one thing we're going to have to do this round, I think I'm going to use that genius later, is we are going to go do our escape action. So we've met our condition of having 3 of these buildings, the gray buildings. So that's going to give us 5 points. And then for every pair of ore plus engineer, which is going to be 6 for us that we have, including any ones on the board, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus 6. So we're going to get 12 points. So 17 points total is going to be our take on the escape action, which is not too bad. You can get more points than that, but that's a decent number of points to obtain for escape action, so I will take it. Let's see, I've got 5 1s here. I think I'm going to go ahead and pop those over there and get a 5 for easy counting later. All right, cool. That's my action. It's a little bit of a chancy to do that. So after the escape, he is going to take a building with a super project, and he wants to take the highest value super project, and I guess we just assume he can get whichever one he wants. So he is going to take this super project. You can only take up 2 of those. Wow, that's 8 points for for the AI. That's a lot of points. All right. So you might hear my meowing here in a minute as my cat wakes up, but I cannot let him out of the area he's in because he will wake up the family if I do that. He'll wander around the house meowing very loudly, and we can't have that. But he does sound pathetic when he's meowing. All right. I've got one action that I can take here. I wonder if I want to not, I mean, hiring a person, but I really want those actions to stay in play for a bit longer. And do I want to trade? Do I want to go back in time? I want that building. Honestly, I want that building action so that I can go back in time again, and so that I can, and I'm going to have to go back in time a couple more times anyway. And now I have the result. I think it's going to cost me 4 water to do it. That is a cruddy deal. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So that keeps him from getting the first player token, which is going to be likely valuable. So there's my 4 water. It's 2 for the space, 2 for that space, 4 total. I have to pay an Atronium. I'm going to have to pay, I do get a discount because I'm using an engineer. So I'm going to pay 1 titanium and 1 gold. And we've paid our water. And I'm going to grab this one. It's worth a point less, but it immediately lets me pull a tile off the timeline. And that could be helpful to me to go ahead and pull one off. I have plenty of titanium to return. Neutronium is the rarest element. Water is going to be the hardest thing to return. Actually, I am going to pull this, so he has to roll for paradoxes. So I'm going to pull my water back off of the timeline from this era. That's what I'm going to do. And he's going to rolls a 2. And he is going to use his last exosuit and take this spot. And he's going to get a triangle. Triangle breakthrough. All right. There we go. And now I've got people. Well, I think we're going to pay half water, rounded up, use him as an executive to boost our morale, which is going to cost us 3 water. Oh, you know what I don't have is a neutronium to get more water. I maybe should have warped that in, but I obviously needed the water. Egads, that's going to be tough. It does awaken all my workers and get my morale up a little bit. Maybe we can get into the positive here before endgame. Whew. All right, now he has no more exosuits. So I don't believe, does he, I believe when he runs out of exosuits, then he does one time thing and passes. Take main, only empty exosuits, blah, blah, blah. There's no available space in capital action. Always take the first players. If an action cannot be taken, it receives 2 water and 1. Okay, construct time travel. End of round. Once the coronavirus run out of exosuits, it takes a time travel action on its next turn if able, then passes. So it'll get a time travel action and it will pass. Okay, so he's running out of exosuits, so he takes a time travel action and then passes. So I get more turns because of the buildings I have. This is interesting. Okay, so, well, we've got our 1 water left. We might need to use it. So if I do that and pay a water and go back in time and return this neutronium back to the past where it belongs, then I get to move up my time marker 1. And then I can also put an engineer in there, and we can go back to the past. We're just going to say our marker is here, and he's got 2 markers there, so he's going to have to roll for paradoxes next round. I'll get that and do that. Okay, so that's not bad. You know what? Instead of an engineer for that guy, I would have used a scientist. I'm going to change that. I'm going to use an engineer there to get a power core, because that will also be extremely handy next round. I don't think I'm going to need 2 power cores. I got that element. I can't get the water, which is unfortunate. That would have been very helpful. I will have... So I could go return that gold next round. And it looks like there probably will be a next round. There will be a next round, which is helpful. But I can't do much else, and I really need that. Well, if I use this round, then I can warp something in and probably take a tile off using the super 407. I am going to double check something, because I'm hoping I can pull something off the timeline that is in the current era too, because I can warp it in and then pull it off. Return one of your warp tiles from a timeline tile to your supply. Yeah, I just don't get to score VPs from it, but I can warp it in. So I can warp something in and then return it with my special red building here. Excuse me, it does weird stuff. So I don't have water for that. I saved some for that. I'm gonna have to get some neutronium or some plutonium next time. I feel like getting 2 titanium is not gonna hurt, because I can use it for this later. I just need the water, and I don't have the water. So that might be the other option, because I really want to have enough power cores, is I can trade, I can trade these 2 back and get 2 power cores, which is, I think, what we're going to do. So we have the power cores for next turn. And end of round, because I am going to then pass, not having any other things I can do. And with that pass, I can, end of round, I can take any 1 resource in the mine not taken. Was there a reason I needed gold? Well, what I really want is uranium. So I'm going to grab the uranium. I could pay 2 if I had water. I don't have water. I'm just going to take that. And that is the end. So now we're going to retrieve our workers. So we have these collapsing capitals here. He's going to get his 4 back, and I'm going to get my guy back. So this comes back awake, because he's a miner. This one comes back asleep. I probably don't necessarily have to wake these guys up either, which is could be handy. We'll see. I might end up doing it just for the sake of the morale boost and some points, but we'll see. So asleep, asleep, awake. These are all asleep. So we'll do that. We might wake them up. All right. Now, do we want to power up? Well, first we have to do paradoxes, and he's actually rolling for the paradoxes. So he's going to roll 2 paradoxes, and then he would roll 1, which means he would get an anomaly. Yay. Instead of putting the paradoxes down there, I'm just going to give him the anomaly. And then I don't have any time tiles out, so I would not be rolling for anything. We are going to, the game is not ended. We're going to reveal the super project, and we're going to refill stuff here. And we're going to have to shift the building stacks. So we'll do that. Ooh, that's a 4-pointer. Only goes back in time once, but it's 4 points. So it's after impact. Neutronium, always at the top. And this time we have, oh, I did have one of those, but we've got 2 plutonium there, and then we need a plutonium here and another titanium. Okay, so we've got that. I am first player. We did paradox. We gotta do power ups. Okay, so I'm gonna power that up. I am definitely powering up all 3 exosuits here, and he is going to power up 4, actually. Yeah, do I have 4 on here? I think I put 1 too many. So he's got his 4, and I've got mine. What do we want to do? Well, there's only 2 collapsing capital tiles. The game is probably going to end this round, but doesn't have to. The question is, what do I want to do? Oh, I forgot to put out the new guy. So there's one of each this round. All right. Well, there is a double recruit, and I believe you get points for people that you recruit. So I think a recruit action is not out of order. So if I go here and I collapse that tile, then that is going to give me 2 recruits, because that's the bonus. So I'm going to do that, and with that bonus, I am going to get 2 water. And with my second recruit, I suppose, do I want to do a scientist? Scientist will give me water. I don't think we're going to be going into a next round, so I'm not going to worry about energy cores quite as much. And a victory point is not bad, but the water could be quite helpful. Should have enough water to do everything I want to do, though. I'm going to need 3 for that. If I build a building, I will need something, and that could be helpful, but you know, I forgot to warp in stuff. I forgot to warp in stuff. That is what I meant to do. What would I have warped in? Would I have warped anything in? Probably would have warped in some water. I don't know. I do have a neutronium I could have warped in, but I don't know that I would have warped in neutronium. I would have probably warped in water. So we'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll roll to see what he warps in. He warps in 1 thing. There we go. So he's tied with me on that one. All right. And then I think it's his go for a turn, right? Yeah, I got my I got my guy. Oh, I was trying to decide on my second thing here. Who? Scientist or executive? I need to use that executive for that. I don't have to use an executive for things here. I think I'm going to go with. I think I'm going to go with the executive and get the victory point. I think I'll go ahead and do that. We'll go after the VP, and then he is going to go 4. Goes down here. He wants to build. He's going to have to do a capital action build. That's the only option for him. And he wants to build a water building. He can build a water building, and this is the bottom one is the one for him to build. All right, so what do I want to do? I could wake up my workers. I've got the water for it. Get more water and a victory point. Doesn't require much. I could use a genius for that. And I have a uranium. So if I return the uranium, I will get 6 water and 1 VP. I shall do that. There's my 6 water. There's my VP. I think that's good. 2. He's going to go here. He is going to mine. He wants to mine this, and he is going to he's going to take this actually, because he wants those 2 things. He's going to try to get some victory points with that. All right. Well, forgot to wake that guy up from last turn. I think I am going to use my executive here, and I'm going to pay 3 water. And I'm going to wake all my guys up. That makes sense to me. Gets my morale, gives me a couple of points. It's probably worth it. Gives me tons of workers. Jeez, that is a lot. All right. Okay, so he's going to roll, and we got a 6. He's going to move back here and get himself 2 water. Not terribly exciting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to give him a 5 here for consolidation. All right, and then I've got decisions to make. I could end the game. I could mine. Now, if he gets a titanium, then he'll be able to get 5 victory points outright just for getting that titanium. So to some degree, a good decision could be just keeping him from getting titanium, because that will prevent him from getting 5 victory points. So I am actually going to take all the titanium that could be obtained there so that he can't do that. And let's see what he rolls. He rolls a 3. He is going to end the game for the... he's not going to end the game right away. We're going to finish the round out, but that tile flips. And what was it? 3. He's going to roll for another breakthrough. He gets a square, so he's going to get that. And then it's my turn. And he has used all but 1 of his exosuits for this round. So he's almost done, but he's going to get to do the time thing. So we're not getting the next turn, so I really need to just pull this off the timeline. Get it back so I don't have to think about it. I'll do that. He's going 4. He is going to take the first player token. And he would take that action, but it is... I guess in theory he can take that action. It's blocked, but he can take it there. So he gets another... he does get another breakthrough for that. Oh, wait. Nope, I did the wrong one. It's not the breakthrough. Not the breakthrough. It's the personnel. And what he's trying to get is an engineer, which he can. He is going to get that engineer, which now he discards all 3 of these, and he gets 5 points. Oh, that's too bad. He did it. He got 5 points. Well, if he mined, I kept him from getting a second 5 points. For hopefully that is beneficial to me. We shall see how it works out. I don't need all of my engineers. He used his last exosuit. I don't have anything I need to take off the timeline here, so that's not terribly important, but I need to get rid of these -3 points. So I'm going to spend 2 of those and 2 water and take this anomaly off of my board and get those points back. He takes a timeline action, which he can, and it is my turn. So let's see. We'll just pass, and we don't have anything to unravel on a timeline because I don't have tiles out here. So I'm good to go there. Yeah, I think that's it. All right, so buildings. I'm going to score 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 for my buildings. And I don't think he scores buildings. I think he does not. End of round, end of game, end of game. Our score doesn't lose victory points for its warp tiles remaining on the timeline. It scores the usual 1 victory point per breakthrough. Yeah, I don't think it scores. I don't think it scores for buildings. But why would it get buildings? It would just take buildings. You can't get any more than 3. No, maybe it does. Let's look at that. Let's look at that again. Let me go back to the building. I think it just doesn't lose victory points for its warp tiles on the tile line. And it scores for the breakthroughs. So I think it will score buildings. I don't know why it wouldn't. That wouldn't make a ton of sense. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So it'll get 16 for the buildings. It will get 8 for its super project. I got 0 for that. No anomalies. It's got 1, so it will get -3 for that. Time marker is on 8. Mine is on 6. Could have done better at that. My morale is 2 points. He got to 8 points. And then he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 victory points and breakthroughs. I got 0. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 23 in victory points there. I'm pretty sure he has quite a few. He's got 20. So I did not do great with my breakthrough there. So we've got a 20, 36, 42, 58, 66 was his. And then 23, 33, 45, 6, 7, 8, 9, 44, 42, 43, 43. So 43 to 66. I don't think I forgot any points. I think that was it. 43 to 66. So, yeah, Chronobot is pretty tough to beat. just thinking through some of the stuff I could have done differently, I ended up with a lot of extra resources here with the titanium. So I certainly didn't calculate that well. I probably could have sent some things back to the past, and I had 2 extra actions at the end. So had I left a couple of time pieces on there, I might have ended up with another anomaly. So there's that. But I had plenty of workers to go get rid of it. I had water left to go get rid of it. I had more of these to go get rid of it. And I could have gone back in time and at least got my time marker up to 10, which would have given me an extra 4 points. And if I had pushed that, maybe more. It's hard to say. Hard to say. But that would have been an extra few points. I had enough resources to potentially purchase another thing or two. I don't know that I would have gotten a ton more from those, but maybe early game, if I push harder for like an extra building, that might have helped. I let my morale go down, and that was partly for water conservation. If I'd gotten that up, that would have been a couple extra points. But it's tough. I mean, there's the give and take, but clearly I could have, with the extra resources I have here, I could have done a little bit more resource management and finagled a few points out. I never went for the breakthroughs, so that could have been points I stole from him, keeping him from taking that spot. But then again, he could have taken other spots probably. That's reasonably hard. So hopefully you got a feel for the game watching this, and some people might feel like it's kind of finicky. I think it's really fun. I like the timeline. I like the idea of that's one of the things that attracted me to this game. Is like, ooh, time travel. That sounds cool. And I kind of, the story is a little weird, but I still like the idea of going, taking items from the future for the present and then having to return them back, or you create paradoxes or potentially anomalies in your timeline, which is kind of a neat concept. But so let's talk solo review. If you skip to this part, this is where I will talk about how I'd rate this. So this one for a solo game is not gonna, I doubt it will rate terribly high. And I'll put my scores up on the screen. I haven't actually done the thinky going through the scores piece of the solo, but I'll get to that and put them on there as we go. I'm thinking this setup is probably going to fall into probably around a 1 or a 2. I don't see it getting much higher than that. It's got a pretty extensive setup. You can see some of the pieces that I have here where I 3D printed some stuff that helps set up go a little smoother. But this is a game that takes a decent amount of time to set up and get going. There are a lot of bits and pieces. It's pretty, you can see the table takes up a lot. It takes a lot of space up on the table. And the 3D print stuff certainly helps. It very much helps with setup, but it's time consuming. And when I think about the challenge of the game is pretty good. I think it's got some thinky, challenging pieces. Where do I place my workers? What should I focus on? Should I go after a super project? It's a lot of points. Or should I focus on the smaller buildings that tend to give me different types of actions? There's a lot of bits and pieces to think through, and that can be pretty fun. So I'd say the challenge is pretty good. The rolling of the dice for anomalies can be a little bit of a luck factor in there that it fits in with the theme of the game. So I do feel like it's very thematic, but I think it also can impact your game pretty significantly as well, where you really it takes a little bit. I'm trying to think if I'd give this. It might border on a 4. It might border on a 4. I'd probably give this at least a 3.75 on the challenge of it. maybe a 4. I'm not sure if it falls into the brain burning range, but it's good. It's good. It's got a good challenge. So I feel like 375 is going to probably be a pretty solid score for this one. The experience of it, thematically, fantastic. Fantastic experience. Love the theme. This is a great game to get out. 4 players, 3 players. I mean, even a 2-player game is not bad. But I think it's a lot more fun at 3 and 4 players where the board's real tight and you have to fight for spaces. Now, this is on the solo 2-player side. The other side has an extra action space for each of these, and so it's not quite as tight. And I think there might even be another capital action up here. But yeah, it's a little more space for folks to take actions. And then if you add the module, the adventure module, or any of the other modules, Doomsday or whatever, it definitely adds to the game as well. Gives you some more actions and options to go do. Yeah, the experience that I think the other part of my experience metric is it's not just the theme and do it, but it is also how much do I really want to play this over and over again. That is now I could use a faction. I could flip the faction board over and use the faction side of the board that has the it's more of the asymmetric faction ability. And so I could do that, and there are 4 factions, so there's some options for increasing what you would be doing. I could use a different leader. So there are definitely some things that you could do to play through the game. I feel like the gameplay itself, where you're placing the workers, you're taking the actions, to me, it's not compelling to immediately play another game. I really like playing this multiplayer. I would happily play this 2, 3, 4 times a year. But as far as a solo game and just playing through it over and over again, to me, this one doesn't feel quite as compelling. I think part of it is the setup and the resetting the game is fairly extensive as well, not just setting up. And I am less inclined for a game that I have to spend this much time resetting. And it's got it's a good fun game. This was a good fun solo. I just don't feel compelled to play a second solo at this point. It's one I would pull out down the road and try again for sure at a solo level, but mostly I'm going to play this multiplayer. I could go years without playing this solo, and that's not going to hurt me because I lots of the games I like to play more and enjoy that puzzly experience a little better than this one. I just rather have players that I can't predict exactly what they're going to do in every turn. I can't predict the solo bot. It's a really good, well-designed solo bot. It's just not enough that I wouldn't go out of my way to do it. Now, if you're huge time travel, if you're huge thematically, you really like the concepts in this game, the time travel, the sort of sci-fi world setting, this might be a solo game that works for you more, especially if you like a real meaty, lots of stuff to put out there and work with. This could be a good option. I mean, there's so many buildings in this game. You could easily play the game multiple times and have very different experiences just based on the number of buildings and how you build your board each time. So there's some variability, but again, just for me, it's not quite as compelling. So I'm thinking this one's going to fall just probably toward the bottom of the list. It might fall in those realm of games that I love multiplayer, but don't enjoy quite as much solo for various reasons. And so I'm thinking solo, probably not going to get as high a score. Great multiplayer game. Thanks for joining me on Unravel Game Thoughts today. If you watch the whole playthrough, then kudos to you. Give it a like. Feel free to subscribe. And I do have a Patreon I'll put in the description if you are interested in supporting more content like this. Also have another channel called Unraveled Beer Thoughts. So if you're into board games and beer, then there's a much shorter videos with just usually a brief tasting notes on different beers I try. But yeah, love to hear what you think of this game. I've already seen some posts elsewhere on some of the other expansions that add to this game and take it to the next level. I don't what you see here. Well, I didn't pull out all the modules, but I don't have the Fractures in Time expansion, and that's the one that I've heard takes it to the next level. So you might look into that and see how it compares with this. But that's not an expansion I've really felt the need to add to this. I don't know. Maybe one day if I get enough people in a game group that are like, yeah, we want to play Anachrony all the time, then I might consider Fractures. But for now, this feels pretty good. It's pretty meaty. The Exosuit Commander expansion actually added a decent amount, but really what it added was these miniatures. So instead of these little tokens here, which is what comes with the base game, you just get these little tiles that you lay on the board for the exosuits. You have miniatures, which are much better in this game. I would say for this particular game, I don't feel like I need miniatures for every game, but for this particular game, having these miniatures to put on the board, it feels tactically better. So I enjoy that. Yeah. Thanks for joining me today, and have a great rest of your week.